Hello and welcome to BBC London News with me, Riz Latif. First tonight, on the eve of tougher sentences for carrying knives coming into force, a mother who campaigned for 5 years for a change in the law says it's a legacy to her murdered son. Yvonne Lawson's 18-year-old son Godwin was stabbed to death in North London in 2010. From tomorrow, those caught carrying a blade for the second time will be automatically jailed. It comes as latest figures show knife crime is on the rise. Our Home Affairs correspondent Nick Beake reports.
Just one stab wound that went straight in his heart. Within a few minutes, Godwin had died.
Ever since her son was murdered, Yvonne Lawson has visited schools across London to tell her story.
And how I really wanted to be there, to hold him, to comfort him.
But now, 5 years on from that dark day, a massive victory for Yvonne. Tougher sentences on knife crime, which she fought for, have become a reality.
I think it's a fantastic, incredible legacy in Godwin's memory, because I look at the fact that I lost a son, but we could actually use this legislation to save many, many lives in so many years to come.
So what are the new measures that come into effect tomorrow? An adult caught carrying a knife for the second time will be given an automatic prison sentence of at least 6 months. For 16 and 17-year-olds, it's a minimum 4-month detention and training order. And the Ministry of Justice estimates that over the coming year, it means more than 1,000 extra people will be sent to prison. Enfield is a borough which has felt the pain of knife crime deeply. The faces of local teenagers stabbed to death over the past 7 years. It set one politician on a mission to drive tougher legislation through Parliament. Legislation which some have called Enfield's Law.
In the past, we've had courts sending repeat offenders, sometimes up to 8 or 9 times, caught carrying a knife, simply getting a community order, or what I regard as effectively a slap on the wrist, and that wasn't good enough.
More jail terms are expected to cost an extra £5 million a year. One reason Lib Dems oppose the measure in government. And some charities also feel locking up more young people is not the solution.
I think you've got to look at the wider circumstances to why a young person's carrying a knife. Don't get me wrong, I don't think knife carrying is right in any capacity. But you know, if there's a young girl walking through an estate, is absolutely scared stiff because of some of the stuff that's going on, and she's thinking to herself, well, it's prison or death, I know which one I'd rather take.
London's top officer for fighting knife crime and gangs welcomes the new measure. But after years of falling knife crime, he's concerned about a recent rise.
Of course, there's a number of complex reasons why knife crime is on the increase, from a combination of better recording practices within the police, not just in London but all over the country. We also see a change in society, so violence generally on the increase across the country. We've seen a decline in stop and search.
The police and campaigners hope the message 2 strikes and you're out will get through to young Londoners tempted to pick up a knife. Nick Beake, BBC London News, Enfield.